So my name's Zachary Smith. I'm no longer a CEO. I now run our edge infrastructure services at Equinix, which is where we help companies access the kind of global reach and ecosystem value of Equinix, but without ever touching foot in our data centers. Been doing this on and off for about 20 years. Was fortunate enough to get into the early days of web hosting and joined Equinix in March of 2020 along with the acquisition of my last company.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, thank
the
you.
The crisis around skills gap are real in the cloud industry, and we have spoken to a lot of companies experiencing challenges finding the quality talent and also retaining and growing that talent. How do you guys address those issues within your organization?
Yeah, well, it's a big topic because I think every part of the economy right now is struggling with having the right kind of talent. As companies invest in digital, people need more highly skilled workers who are up to speed on cutting edge technology. That means you're constantly training and constantly bringing new people on board. And then of course there's just a pure labor shortage. We have unemployment that's near historic lows. So it's like a perfect storm of challenges and opportunities. And so at Equinix, we focus on a couple things. Number one, we have a really robust new to career program. And so we know that we need to grow the talent base by bringing people into the company and then helping them to kind of learn the skills they need along the way versus just trying to hire people who know all the skills. And then the second thing we have to do is we're asking people to support new services, to sell them, to work on engineering projects, the things that they've never ever done before. So we're introducing various programs, but part of this is osmosis. Part of it is removing barriers to content, making sure that people have great mentorship scenarios. But to be honest, we're on a journey about how to figure that out. So looking at all kinds of options now, but focus on growing the tent, more talent, and then obviously trying to get them up to speed and arm them with the skills they need as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. And do you find yourself rebalancing or reharmonizing the roles? Because we have observed many cloud organizations right now have fully loaded catalogs at individual level, and it puts a lot of burden on employees. Obviously, it also impacts the hiring speed. Could you comment a little bit on that?
Yeah. Well, Equinix has over 10,000 employees,
Right.
and I think we've done well over 25 acquisitions. So the problem you're describing is real, which is job codes have changed, whether because things have changed in the industry or because just people had different leveling approaches or understanding of certain roles, and we've acquired businesses or whatnot. And then I would say there's just even new roles that didn't exist. So 5 years ago, we didn't have a role called customer success, and we didn't have a DevOps team. Right? But now we do. And so even that has expanded it, and then struggling to justify that, optimize it, understand what it means, communicate that. It's definitely a town.
Plus we went fully remote, primarily.
Yeah, well, as a global company, we're heavily distributed, right? So it certainly will vary by region and even understanding based upon language and whatnot.
So Zach, why are you taking a closer look at Innovork? Why? First of all, Zach is an investor in the company. And why are you excited about our product?
Yeah, well, I think one of the interesting areas of experience, which you certainly have had, being in the service provider space for, I'm going to guess, many years. We're going to just go off of that. With that experience, I think that the service provider space really was a leading indicator of an entirely different way of going to market. And so cloud and related was one of the first really big business-to-business industries that had a self-service and usage-based and success-driven motion. We just didn't know how to call it in the early days, where people would go onto your website and buy something by the minute or the hour or the month, and you needed to help make them successful, otherwise they wouldn't renew, right? And so that was really different than the world of, say, perpetual software, which was you get them to buy it and then they're stuck with it, right? That's very different in a service provider world. So I think number one, what drew me to your mission has been primarily your vantage point, the front row seat of that movement around helping people be successful, arming frontline workers in kind of success, support, marketing, sales roles with the knowledge they need to do to help the customers. I think you've seen that, and so I was very drawn to that kind of experience and whatnot. And then two, I think there's just a gap in the market in terms of we don't have enough tooling. We don't have enough capabilities on common understandings about how we can, instead of looking for the unicorns that know all the things, how can we help people learn new skills on a regular basis? How can we measure and guide them so we can support them through that journey? How can we make sure that teams are well-rounded so that when they're 24/7, that they have the right skills and capabilities to be able to do their job and not feel that they're put on their back foot trying to support a frontline customer or experience or whatnot. So I think that's the other thing, is just a gap in the market. There are a lot of different tools for learning. There's things for assessments, for grading and all kinds of stuff, but there's not a lot that's really purpose-built for this kind of success and service-based industry, which I think more and more the economy is living in.
Yeah, and I think being able to help the younger generation to enter this industry would be amazing, and that's one of the social elements of InnoWorks platform. We definitely want to open up the doors for the new workforce to join this industry, and in fact, we're teaming up with some of the organization on internship programs, surprisingly, so this may be something we could talk about as well.
Absolutely. It's one of the most interesting opportunities in our industry, right? Because number one, it's growing. So we have a constant need for more talent, right? And number two, it keeps changing. So even the skills that you had 5 years ago, you still need to learn new things. And I think that is, just an incredible opportunity for leveling the playing field and allowing more people, I like to call it the bigger tent, just opening a bigger tent and letting more people into this high growth industry of technology. But that means we need to be able to support people to come up to speed, to learn, to keep up with new skills, to know what they're doing. That's an important part of that. So I love the aspect that you're doing to bring more people into this industry as well as other kind of technical and service-based industries. So keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach, for being here.